Hello YouTube and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Sharita. Welcome. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for supporting my channel. Okay, today's video is going to be all about tips for the tender-headed. I know, Sisterlocks, you want them, but you're not sure if your scalp can handle it. Don't worry, boo, I got you. It sounds like something you will be interested in hearing more about, then just keep watching. Okay, so this video is going to give advice for those who are thinking about Sisterlocks and those who are already on their journey. The first piece of advice I would give to anyone that is tender-headed and you don't have Sisterlocks yet, but you're considering, is to talk more in depth with your loctician. Get to know if you are suffering from just your normal tender-headedness, if you have alopecia, if you've ever had traction alopecia, or if you have lupus. Now, me personally, I had traction alopecia in the past, and it was so bad that I actually had a hair transplant. And so that was one of the things I definitely had to voice as far as my concern, because I didn't want anyone doing my install that would be really rough on my hair. I have fine hair and I have a tender scalp. Once I voiced those concerns to her, she was more than willing to make sure that I felt comfortable, that the tension, especially up here, was very light. And I haven't had any issues at all because I have a great consultant. Let me tell you, if you have voiced those things to your consultant and you feel like they are not really hearing your concerns and acting accordingly, you need to find a new consultant. If you go in for a retie and you're saying that, okay, you're being a little heavy-handed, a little rough, and they continue to do the same thing and you're leaving in pain, you need to find another consultant. It's just the way it is. You don't want to have these and end up in a worse situation. We get these so that we can grow our hair long, thick, healthy. We don't want to end up in a worse state than when we started. So do your due diligence. You need to make sure that you have someone that is listening and who is willing to be in your corner and make this a good experience for you and your scalp. So my first tip for install and establishment, make sure that you blow the hair out. I went up in there with my hair, like an afro pretty much. And because I wasn't told to blow it out, I didn't know. Some people don't blow out their hair before install, but let me tell you, if you're tender-headed, this is going to ease the pain so much. I cannot reiterate that enough. Once she blew out the hair, all that popping and crackling and pain that I was experiencing for like that first section, that really stopped. And it makes the hair so much easier to work with. You're going to be there for a long time. You don't want to be in pain for 40 hours. That's how long my install took. You don't want to be in pain for that length of time. That's crazy. So if you feel like when you're getting your install and something is painful, communicate to your loctician. I'm telling you, she probably has a process in place to ease that pain, but you have to let her know. The tip is, please do not take pain relievers before your appointments. I hate to see that in some of these groups. It's like, oh girl, yeah, reties, they painful, but I just, I take a ibuprofen and keep it moving. You need to be aware of the amount of tension someone is putting on your scalp. This is why we have so much traction alopecia within our community. Gone are the days where we sit there in pain for a certain look or certain hairstyle. That is null and void. Kill it. It's dead. Because let me tell you, I had to pay a hefty price to get these edges replaced. Okay, don't end up in my spot and like me. And I was definitely sitting there in pain, getting my hair in box braids and micro braids, thinking that it was okay. This is just the norm. This is, the tighter the better. It'll last longer. No, you should not. This should not be a painful process. And Sisterlocks are actually supposed to be very loose tension style for your hair. That is like literally a part of their claim, that it is low tension, and it should be. It should feel low tension. Okay, retie tips. I would advise anyone to wash shampoo their hair the morning of or the day of their retie. And I say this because when you go in there with your scalp moistened, it greatly reduces the tension on your scalp. Also, my loctician, even though I do wash my hair right before, she's still in sections. When she's working in sections, she will spritz my scalp with light water, just a light mist, so that that area is nice and supple and soft and I don't feel the tension. Another tip is before you retie, days leading up, you need to get the scalp massager. I cannot reiterate that enough. 2 reties for me were painful, and it wasn't during the process that I felt the pain, it was after. It was like my scalp would get so tight and so full of tension. And I was really like considering, okay, is this Sisterlock thing gonna be for me? Because I don't want to be in pain for a whole 3 days after a retie, because it cannot be good for my scalp. And this saved me. 3 or 4 days leading up to your retie, use this little massager. Go in the areas where you know you're tender. I do my whole head, but definitely I pay attention to these areas up here, because what that is going to do is reduce any tension that you have in your scalp. It used to be after a retie, I couldn't even like move the part, like where she had my hair parted, it's just kind of where it had to stay. Like that's how tight everything was. But now, honey, since she told me about these massages, I do them and my reties are pain free. I can walk out of there, make a part here, flip my hair around. Like I feel no pain. It is mind blowing. So definitely get yourself one of these and use it. It's great if you can massage your scalp, 3 or 4 minutes every day, every night, once a week. But at the bare minimum, 2 or 3 days leading up to your retie, and definitely like an hour before you go. This is going to change the game for all my tender-headed sisters out there. Trust me. Okay, this should go without saying, but some people just need to hear it. Honey, if you have a tender head, you need to be wearing your locks in a very loose style without additional tension. I know some of us are so into styling our locks in different ways. We're roller setting it. We're putting it in a tight little mohawk. We got cute buns and all this kind of stuff. No, my hair is either down, deep part to the side or something like this, where it's just kind of like tucked back over here, or I have to wear it up for work. So what I do is I just wear it in a very loose bun. That is it. That is all I do for my hair right now. Now I can understand you want to do something jazzy for a special occasion, but if we get these so that we don't have to worry about so much styling. Like less is more with the locks. Just chill. You don't have to have a new hairstyle every day, because let me tell you, that is eventually going to cause damage to your scalp. Treat this just as you would any other loose natural hair. I mean, your hair is going to grow thicker and longer and better the less you manipulate it. And your scalp is going to thank you for it, especially if you're tender-headed. Now, I know oils in the community are debatable, but my consultant used oil on my scalp from day one, and I thank her and I love her for it, because the Sisterlocks rules are no oils on the scalp or in the locks. At one point it was no products, just shampoo. Now they have their own product line, so you just have to use your better judgment. A tender head is basically just inflammation in your scalp. If you're putting essential oils back into your scalp after you shampoo, maybe using a little emu oil every now and then, that stuff reduces actual inflammation in the skin, in the scalp. So that is actually going to help someone who's tender-headed. So if you're with a loctician who is very anti-oil, you may want to consider getting a second opinion, talking to another loctician, see if they may be a better fit for you. I hate to see women out here who are complaining about an itchy scalp, flaky scalp, all these scalp issues for months after they have their initial install. Guess what I had? None of that, because my consultant used oils on my scalp. She said, your hair needs this. So many Sisterlock consultants are not actually trained cosmetologists, so that's something that you have to keep in mind. You know, sometimes it's okay to veer off to do what is actually good for you. So it's just something you're gonna have to weigh, you know, the pros and cons. But I've had tremendous success so far in my journey. I haven't had any issues at all with my locks. I haven't experienced any slippage. As far as, you know, how the oil affects my hair, my locks, I don't have any buildup. I use it very minimally, but it definitely keeps my scalp healthy, and therefore I don't have to deal with the tenderheadedness anymore. And so I hope these tips will be helpful in your journey. I don't want you to shy away from getting Sisterlocks because you have a tender head. There are remedies out there, honey. Trust me, because I definitely am tender-headed. And this process has been so much easier for me, just implementing these things into the care of my locks. So let me know in the comments, are you tender-headed? Are you locked? Like, what are you dealing with, and what has helped you in your journey? Drop it in the comments below. Don't forget to join the family, subscribe, and thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the content.